Hey guys, welcome back to Elm Creek in our new farmer mode playthrough. So yesterday we wrapped up a harvest of wheat. We've finished planting this field. Actually, I'm just going to turn some settings back on. So I was doing some screenshots for the video, so I'd turn these items off. Now I've got them back on. Okay, so we've got our soybeans growing. We've got our canola over here. And we've got another patch of soybeans. Still got a little bit of tree to get rid of. We harvested this field and sold it back. So if I just jump into the menu, go to farmland, so that we purchased this one and then we've resold it. So we're back up to about 100,000 in revenue. Basically what we started the game with. So what we haven't done yet is we haven't slept. So what we're going to do is we're going to sleep now. And then we're going to initiate the next farm day. And then we're going to go from there. So come over to the sleep trigger. We're going to sleep till 8 a.m. And what you'll notice in the top right hand corner, there'll be some property costs, leasing costs associated with us going through the day. So 160 in vehicle costs, 125 in property maintenance. So the leasing costs are associated with our plow. So that's cost us $160 to have for one day. So we've used it for 0.2 hours. I can't remember what the figures were for the holding cost, but you get the idea. Alright, soybeans are growing. Nice. So this is their first growth state. So to check the growth state of your crops, you want to come into your menu, left analog stick over to growth, and you can see the fields here are in light green. And one thing I'm noticing too is field 49 has been harvested. So that was the one we were going to purchase and grab the sorghum off, but it looks like it's already been done. So we should have purchased the land yesterday, then slept. Then we would have been able to harvest the crop today. So that's a touch annoying. So we'll see this here. Yeah, harvested. So we've missed an opportunity there, but not to worry. There'll be plenty more where that came from. So let's have a look at what we can potentially harvest. So the issue is we don't have the budget, or do we? So that's 114,000. How much is this one? That's 225. This one is 250. So what you got to do is you got to buy the land that the field is on. So how much is this one? That's 429,000. So really not looking like. How much is this one here? 212. So there's nothing really here we can do. How much is this one? 150. So we need a little bit more cash up our sleeve to buy some more fields so we can flip them, harvest the crop, and get some extra crop under our belt. I mean, 49 would have been a great field, but I should have bought that before I slept, just so we ensured that we owned it before the crop was ready to harvest, because the AI computer players will harvest their crops pretty much ASAP. So that leaves us with not much to do right this minute. So let's have a look at our contracts, see if there's anything worthwhile here. Okay, so we've got some decent contracts potentially. So 15,000 for harvesting. So this is potatoes. So this is going to take quite a while to do. So my approach to contracts is I want to do the ones where I can hire a worker and they can do they can do it for me. Baling is manual. So I've got a windrow. No, this is too many steps, too much equipment. Cultivating, not really worth it. So it's up to you. You can do these contracts if you wish, but I am going to decline to do those. So they'll just sit there until they fall away from the menu. I've still got this tree here, so we may get rid of that if we can get another job. Oh, one thing too I want to mention about this barn is if we open the gate here, what this barn is basically is just a storage facility. So we've got a bit of a, this looks like an Elm Creek map. So it's just a little bit of an Easter egg. Workshop area, a few little bits in there, so you can store equipment, machinery, supplies if you desire. You've got a big hayloft with the big upstairs. Now I tend not to use this barn, but you definitely can. I think you can also sell it for a bit of, so if we open this door, this gives us forklift access up top to drop off some product, and I think we can get up this ladder. Yes, we can. And it just gives us, I don't know, something to explore. I don't think you're really going to put anything up here, but this is what this is. So normally, what I'm planning on doing is probably sell this at some stage, along with that red shed over here. But I'm not going to do that straight away, because what happens if you do sell them, you end up with these rather large holes in the ground from where these pits are. And in the barn, the basement that we walked into in the first instance, so down here, you've basically got to fill in the land in and around this area to flatten it out, so it does get quite expensive. So something that's on the cards, but not something I'm going to do straight away. Alright, so let's jump into the shop menu, see if there's anything worth purchasing. So we've got what looks like a large Massey Ferguson for 87,000. So this might be a medium tractor actually. So I am going to get a new tractor at some stage, but probably not today. So we see we've got one extra bit of equipment there. It's now September, so we're on 1 day month. So every time we sleep in game, it's a 1 day month. So you can change your month cycle to be as many days as you want. So you can have it up to 30 days in a month, just like in real life. You can have 2 days, you can have 3 days, it's up to you. But I tend to just work off of that. 1 day is 1 month in game, so it just speeds up our growth cycle of our plants and crops, and just makes the game move a little bit quicker. But that's why it's important to have your time scale set to real time, because then you can basically do all your jobs, figure out what you need to do, and then if there's nothing less for you to do, you basically go to sleep again. So that's potentially what we're going to do at the moment. So I'm just going to have a look at the large map again, see what is ready to harvest, and see if I haven't missed anything that may be worth taking a look at. That's 240,000. Can't buy that. This one is 470,000. Yeah, so basically just to give a bit of an update of where we're at, there's a couple of contracts available, but I'm not really interested in any of these at this stage. Our own crops are growing. Okay, so they're going to take probably another 3 days to be harvested. We've got no equipment that we want to purchase today. So I'm going to leave this log here because I don't want to spend a whole episode packing this up. So I'll do that probably when I'm not recording an episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight back to sleep and get another growth state on our crops. So what we'll get our leasing costs again. So we get our per day leasing cost on that plough. And then we'll have our property costs, and that should be it. So we haven't got any passive income generators or productions underway. So $160 of vehicle costs. So you can see if you have a lot of leasing costs and you're not actually making any money, those costs can add up pretty quickly. So something to consider. Okay, so we've got another growth state there. Let's check our growth map. Okay, so we've got a few more fields that have come online for harvesting. So let's have a look at this one. This is the one from earlier. Still too expensive. That one's out of our budget also. What about this one? Yeah, that was still... So we're going to need at least about... Let's have a look at these ones. We're going to need at least probably 150,000 spare cash to access some of these adjacent fields close to the farm. So particularly like field 2, 3, 4. So these are the ones we want to target early. Even 14, not so much. Possibly 9. So close proximity to the farm, which is handy. But obviously at the moment, there's nothing that we can harvest that we can afford to flip. All right, let's have a look at the shop. So we've got that same tractor from yesterday, a front loader, a forage harvester, and a trailer. So what's this trailer got? Okay, so this trailer is actually not too bad. So you can see the crops down the bottom. So this is actually, it looks like a spreader. So let's have a look. Yeah, so you can configure it to be a manure spreader for an extra 20 grand. So that's not a bad deal, but I am going to pass on that because I will utilize the small trailer that we've got at the moment until we get our first harvest in. And then we're going to try and upgrade some equipment. So let's just double check our contracts, see if there's anything worth doing here. So potatoes, we want to stay away from potatoes because the yield on that is very high, and we're going to make more money out of our own harvesting anyway. Let's have a look at cultivating. So my preferred contracts are going to be fertilizing and cultivating. This one's probably not too bad. Okay, this one's actually not too bad. So this will be a large field. Cultivating. So some of these contracts will drop away naturally over time. So how I will do contracts, if I've got work to do on my own farm and I can hire a worker to do a contract, I'll do that because it's basically making good use of my time when I'm working on my own fields. I've got a worker doing the contract for me. But basically if I'm attending to my own farm and I've only got the contract going with no other work, then that's probably something I would pass on, just because I'm more interested in getting my own crops out of the ground. So let's sleep for one more day. So this is how I use the sleep trigger. I'll just use it to speed up the growth cycle of the crops. Because you can go off and do all the contracts that you like, but it just takes your time away from your own farm. Okay, so these guys are... Let's have a look at our growth calendar. Okay, field 52 is ready to go, which we can't afford. Let's see if we can get 51. Alright, so we can get 51. What else have we got? 54. That was too expensive. So let's have a look and see what's on field 54 and whether that's going to be something we can harvest. So it looks like it is corn. So I don't have a corn header, so that's not one I'm going to worry about, because I don't want to go and just lease a corn header just for that. What about this field over here? That's too expensive. This one, still too expensive. How about some of these? So that's 150. Yeah, so it's still looking like we're really, yeah, no good. No good. Let's try this one. So you see it sort of blocks out the land. What about this one over here? That's going to be 150, so we're still a little bit short. What about this one over here? That's going to be that block there. So not going to be practical for us to farm any of that stuff today. Okay, quick look at the contracts. I think we might have done this before, but I just want to double check. No. Alright, what is our farm doing? So let's have a look at our crops. So let's go to growth. Okay, so you can see the soybeans are a darker green than the canola, so that means they are getting pretty close. So when they get to about probably this color here, the really dark green, they're not far away from turning orange, which means they're ready to harvest. So I think that was day 2. We're on to day 3 now. Okay, let's have a look at the shop. So what have we got? Got another trailer. So this is very similar to the one we've already got. So I think, where is our trailer? Might actually even be identical. It's the Rudolph DK280RL. So similar, but not quite the same. So this one is a slurry tank, which we're not going to use. This is another slurry tank. So not completely not very useful for us at this stage. All right, let's sleep again. So you can see from the start of our gameplay from episode 1, we didn't sleep for 3 or 4 episodes, and now in one episode we've slept nearly 4 times. So you can sort of see how the gameplay loop for planting and harvesting is going to roll through. So these guys are, let's have a look at the map. So I think tomorrow our soybeans will be ready, which is ideal. And then we've got field 51 is still corn. Field 52 we can't afford. So we're still in the same scenario there. Let's just double check what contracts are on the go. So we've got quite a few harvesting contracts. Pretty much all harvesting contracts. So what you will notice too is, based on the mini-map, and when I say mini-map I'm talking about the large map. So if we go back to here, whatever the majority of the states of these fields are, is going to dictate what your contracts are available. So there's a lot to harvest here, so it makes sense that there's a lot of harvesting contracts available currently. But we are not going to spend time doing them because we want to focus on our own farms. So one more day, I think these will be ready. Let's check our used equipment. Okay, so what do we got here? A Valmet, Vulture Valmet. So it's just another sort of, it's very similar to our John Deere. We've got a mower, 54,000, and then we've got the rolls to mash. This is a nice big tractor for 110,000, so that's something we would consider getting if we had the cash, but we don't. So we are going to sleep again, and then hopefully tomorrow it'll be harvest time for our soybeans. So let's have a look. Alright, we're gonna need one more day of sleep, I would say. So let's check our map. So you can see we've gone dark green now. So the next state after this is going to be harvesting. Alright, nothing really. We know the price of these fields, and we know we can't get them. Let's just have a look at the contracts to see what is currently available. So we've got a few cultivating contracts, so I don't mind the cultivating contracts. So this one here is something I would consider doing while we're doing our harvest if it's still available. And maybe one of these other harvesting contracts if we've got time. So let's check our used equipment. So the only thing we've got today is the Macy Ferguson, so it's still available, but we're not gonna worry about that. We're just gonna sleep and then get stuck into our own harvest. Hopefully it's not raining so we can get straight into it. And we are ready to go. So there we go, we've got the ready to harvest indication. So we'll jump in the Deutz. What I'll do is I'll start on this patch over here. So we've turned our harvester on. We are going to... So I'm just going to hire the worker, get him underway. Alright, so what we're doing is we're picking up the soybeans here, so they don't leave straw, because there's not enough straw in the crop here. And actually, let's send this guy... So hopefully he's got enough room to turn around, because it's a relatively small field. Yeah, so it looks like he's going to do okay there. Okay, so this is going to take a little while to harvest, so let's have a look at getting a contract underway. So hopefully that cultivating contract is still there. So I'm going to borrow the items for this. Okay, so I've got the items. We're going to field 58. Okay, here we are. So we're in a nice, actually quite a nice tractor here. So this is the bigger 6R John Deere. And we are going to field 58, so that is quite a way away. So what I'll do is I'm going to get the automatic driver to head down there. So we're going to send the driver down to this location, and you see you got a little arrow icon. So that'll just indicate which direction you want him to face once he's arrived. Okay, so target unreachable. Let's try this again. So you have to go to the menu, set destination. There we go. So if you get destination unreachable, what's happened there is the AI can't figure out how to turn around when they get to the location. So basically you want to try and park it and send it to open space. So this guy's now underway. You can see that there. So he should have no problem getting to that destination now. Alright, so we got some work underway, which is good. Now we've got some wheat here, so we're going to save that wheat for chicken feed, because we are going to look to purchase a chicken coop very soon. So if we go to chickens, this will hold 30 chickens, this will hold 360. So we are going to save up for this one here, the Horman chicken coop, because the price of eggs is basically what the strategy is. We're going to take our wheat, right, feed that to the chickens, and then the chickens are going to lay eggs. So the price of eggs is actually not that great at the moment, but it does peak at around $4,000 per 1,000 litres, whereas wheat will only fetch a top price of $1,200, which you know, we're getting almost sort of 3 times the amount of money. So I'm just going to jump in this guy quickly. So he's missing a bit of crop here, so just dismiss that worker. So just to help him get the rest of this field. You can see a little bit of crop over there that's been missed. So on the bigger fields I wouldn't worry too much about missing crop like that. But in these sorts of fields it absolutely makes sense to do that. Because every little bit matters. So I'm just going to go around and do the edges here. Because we've still got that tree stump in the way, which we'll have to get rid of with a stump grinder. And so what will happen is if you hit that, you know, you just run into it and you won't be able to go anywhere. So it's just about making sure that worker can navigate this little area efficiently. So I will hire worker again. Check on our cultivator. See, he is probably not far away from field 58. So hopefully he's not going to get stuck here. That's good. Okay, while that's happening, I'm going to get back onto our tree. So let's get the lizard pickup. So is this actually ready to harvest? Barley. I don't think we can buy that, eh? We might be able to. Yes, we can. So we're going to buy this field. So square to buy. So that is now ready to harvest. So we haven't planted that. We haven't cultivated it. We haven't done anything. But we can now harvest this and get some barley under our belt. So we've got 50,000 in cash, which we need to be careful that we don't run out of money. Let's go over here. Alright, dismiss the worker. So I'm going to unfold this plough. Going to find the edge of the field. So we're actually going to have quite a bit on today in this session that we can really make the most of. So get this guy lined up in the corner of the field. Okay, let's hit hire worker. And he's going to cultivate this field for us. So a decent sized field actually, so this may take a little bit of time, but that's good because we can double down on some of our own jobs. So like I keep saying, we've got our harvester going, we've got a contractor on board. So while those guys are doing those things, I will jump in and do some of our own work. So let's get this guy. And in this case, back on the tree. So let's get this over here. Now I do want to check the shop quickly. So we've got a subsoiler, we've got a loading wagon, and we've got a slurry distributor. So none of those things we're going to worry about. All out of our price point anyway. So let's grab this. So what I am on the lookout for is probably a skid steer. It's too heavy. So a skid steer with a stump grinder and possibly a log fork, because that'll help us to clear some trees. So this guy's done. So we've harvested that field pretty quickly. Got a 1,700 litres of soybeans. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come over to this edge and I'm going to do a header row. So what a header row is basically just a strip at the end of the field that allows our harvesters to go in the left to right direction a little bit more easily and efficiently, because we're getting close to buildings and other such things here. So what I'm going to do is line this up on this corner. So we just line up our harvester here. We're going to overlap slightly because we've got some crop over here. Hire the worker, let him do his thing, and then we are back to our logging situation. So let's have a look here. Object too heavy. Oh, come on. Too heavy. Let's cut this in half. So this is where a piece of equipment with a log fork would be really handy. Where's that cut indicator? Let's try that. There we go. So obviously us having to lift... Oh, come on. It's really annoying if you hit the vehicle entry button rather than the change tool button. Okay, let's try this. Where was the one we just cut? I think it was this one here. Okay, there we go. Okay, hopefully that stays in the vehicle, which it sort of has. Yeah, that'll do. This one's probably too big, so let's cut it in half if we can. So I don't mind doing these sorts of jobs when I've got other workers underway. But if I really needed to get this cleared, I would focus on it exclusively. But because we've got the ability to sort of multitask a little bit, I'm more than happy for that to... What have we got here? This bloody log. So I'll get this out of the way so we can get a clear cut trigger on the other thing. Hopefully that'll stay in just. So we'll take this to the biogas plant, get that dropped off out the way, and then yeah, future plans are going to be to sort of remove these buildings. We'll keep the silo. Alright, what have we got here? Let's cut this in half. So it would be great if we could get all of this in. Pretty close. I reckon we can get this on top. Let's try again. Let's try that. Oh, almost. Okay, we're good. Okay, let's get our tension straps on. So L1, R3. Happy days. Okay, so we're all strapped in. Check on our workers. So he's done 10% apparently. He's nearly done. So he's not even going to get close to getting a full tank of crop there. So we are good to go. Alright, let's go drop this off. So what I'll do is I'll go and drop this off, and I will see you in the next episode where we're going to continue our harvest and go from there. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.